You are listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast, a podcast by diehard fans for fans. Mark covers all things Penn State football and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as anything related to the sports and fitness world. Tune in weekly to listen to a couple of dedicated fans talk about these topics without filters. Thank you for listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast.
All right, everybody. Welcome back into another episode of the Mark Lesko Podcast. Just me today, as usual, on the daily show. Wanted to talk quickly about the Steelers free agency moves and the naming of the field at Beaver Stadium for Penn State football. So, saw this morning that... sorry about my background. But saw this morning that Jason Cabinda was on NFL Network. So that's pretty cool. Just retired and now he's on NFL Network. I just saw that when I woke up. So good for him. I don't know how much those guys get paid, but he's probably bringing in a decent paycheck doing that. So good for you, Jason. I was going to shoot him a text, but last time I got his number was when he was still at Penn State, so he's probably changed it by now. I know Saquon's changed his number. I had his phone number too, but he's probably changed by now, Jason, because of guys like me probably reaching out to him all the time, which I don't personally. I haven't talked to him since he was at Penn State, but he probably has a lot of people blowing up his phone. So those guys change their numbers quite a bit. But all right, so jumping right into it, the latest on Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers have an offer out to Aaron Rodgers, and money is not the holdup on his lack of decision. The Steelers are simply waiting for Rodgers to respond. So that's the latest on him. The Steelers, and I'm going to get Jared Miller on here soon again for Steelers Central, and also going to get Brett's thoughts on the latest Penn State news in regards to the naming of the field and all that stuff. But this is just, my initial thoughts. So Steelers have made quite a bit of moves. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened since we last talked. This is JPA football. They're always good. Breaking news on Instagram. I've got to scroll all the way down. There's been so many headlines. So first and foremost, DK Metcalf is the big sign that the Steelers got. That's a huge get. Colin Cowherd said it was a terrible move, of course, because he hates the Steelers. I don't think he likes Mike Tomlin too much either. But So DK signs for 5-year, $150 million extension. Probably top 3 receiver in the league. Physically, he's a freak. He's 6'3", like, I don't know, 240, runs a 4.3. I remember he was on First Take, and he said we've never seen that before. Of course, Molly Querim agreed with him because she knows nothing about sports. But we have seen that before. Megatron, he was probably bigger and just as fast, if not faster. That guy, he was called Megatron for a reason. He was that's a Transformer name. That's why he was called that, because he was just unbelievably athletic. Just imagine that, being called a Transformer because you're that freaky. That's Megatron for sure. But DK is he's up there for sure. I think it was Malik Mega, my guy from Penn State, called himself Mini Megatron. Didn't pan out for him like it did for the real Megatron, but he was like him in a way. So 5-year, 150 for DK. I'm not going to get into the Odell stuff. I was hoping to get him, Chris Godwin. Love that guy. I think, yeah. Dan Moore goes to the Titans, $82 million. Good for him. I think cap-wise, we just can't keep him. We released Larry Ogunjobi. He's a pretty key piece to our defense, but signed Darius Slay, another one of the best corners in football. So got 2 of the best players in football on the Steelers now. Jared and I said it on Steelers Central in our latest episode that we needed corner, we needed receiver, we need running back, we need a quarterback. We got the corner down, so it's going to be him and JPJ at corner. So good for them. Justin Fields signs with the Jets. My thoughts on this are we're not winning a Super Bowl with Justin Fields as a quarterback. You'd have to have a ton of weapons. So if they got DK and Cooper Kupp, I think we'd be okay, but we still don't really have a running back. Even with the signing of Gainwell. But yeah, good for him. Gets his money. Good contract for him, and if you break it down. So good for him. I mean, I wish we would have brought in Aaron Rodgers and kept him here, but I don't think they can do both, I guess, with the cap. Rodgers probably got signed for a pretty decent deal. I'd say anywhere from like probably 20 to 40 million over 2-3 years, I would say. We got Darius Slay, so good sign there. Russ is going to Cleveland to interview at least. I don't know if he's going there or not, but he's going there to interview at least. I don't want him. So that's good for us. Kenny Pickett's going to the Browns. Surprise, surprise. One of the worst first-round picks the Steelers ever had. Najee is going to the Chargers. Let's see. So I'm glad we got rid of him too. And then it's on here somewhere. Mason Rudolph, he's coming to the Steelers. Just saw that today. Le'Veon Bell's been in the news too. And then the storyline was the Steelers could be screwed if they let Russ walk and then we don't get Rodgers, which is true. That could screw us for sure. And then Kenneth Gainwell, got him 1-year deal. So he's a solid back. It looks like Jaylen Warren probably be our starter. Not really a 4-down back guy, but this guy can do it all, Kenneth Gainwell. So we could possibly see him on like 3rd down, stuff like that. He's very gifted running back, can catch the ball, can run the ball, can block. So it's a pretty solid sign there for the Steelers. So good for them. I think they released Cordell Patterson. He's a better version of him, younger version. Yeah, so this is like one of the storylines. Steelers could be in a bad spot if they fail to sign Rodgers due to what appears to be a strained relationship with Russell Wilson. They're in murky territory right now. I would agree with that. And then they got another corner, Brandon Eccles from the Jets. So more depth there, which is good. Defense is not the issue. I mean, Darius Slay, that's an unbelievable sign. We got Patrick Queen. We got all of our linebackers, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith. I mean, we're set there. That's one of the best linebacking cores we've had since, like, the Joey Porter days. So we're set there. Defense, again, is not the issue. It's the offense. Defense is not going to give up points most of the time. So we need to score more points. That's the issue for the Steelers. So, and we got Scotty Miller. I think, yeah, Scotty Miller was on our team before. So we got him back. But pretty much what it comes down to is Rodgers, does he sign? Now, I saw a story where, and I'll pull this up too, he purchased, or he was interested in purchasing some Pittsburgh merchandise. Rodgers was. So that's just kind of like a, kind of under the table type of story that doesn't mean much, but it's like a good sign. Yeah. Did I must not have sent that to Brett. I think I just added it to my story. But yeah, so he was interested in purchasing some Pittsburgh merchandise. So that's a good sign. I think he will come to the Steelers. I think Aaron Rodgers is, and I've heard this from several different podcasts, that he's pretty much, it's almost locked in that he's probably coming to the Steelers, knock on wood. And why I like that is because a couple reasons here. The Steelers are the most betted on team to win the Super Bowl now, I guess. So that's cool. They don't even have a quarterback yet, and they're still being bet on. I wouldn't go that far, but a couple of reasons why I like this Rodgers signing, if he does sign. One, we can contend for a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers as our quarterback. Are we winning a Super Bowl with Justin Fields as quarterback? No. Can we win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers? Hell yeah. Yes, we can. That's basically like almost like a Tom Brady signing, an older Tom Brady going to the Bucs. That can happen with him. Will Fries signs a huge deal. 88 mil. Good for him. Penn State guy. Going to a good Vikings team. And another thing, too, if Rodgers does sign with the Steelers, he's like 40, 41, I think. That puts us, and I do think the Steelers are doing this, it puts us in a good position to trade up and get Arch Manning, because we will need a new young quarterback. Or a Drew Aller. That puts us in a good position to get someone like that, because Rodgers is not going to be there long at all. 1, 2, maybe 3 years, maybe 2 years. Like, he's not going to be there long. So if you bring in like an Arch Manning next year, and I've said it in the past, any player, I don't care who they are, they come to the Steelers, they can be better. So bringing in a young Arch Manning with Rodgers for like 1 to 2 years, and he's not known as the best mentor. I think I've heard that Rodgers is saying, like, I'm willing to be a better mentor to a young quarterback wherever I go, which is good. But we all know Arch can run for sure. I mean, he's not the most mobile guy, but he can run. So him and Rodgers are pretty similar play styles, I'd say, in terms of what they can do. But I think Arch Manning is a real deal, and I think the Steelers should go all in and try to get him next year if he comes out, which I think he will, because I think it's going to be like probably like Michigan. I don't know about Ohio State, but Michigan, they lost all 3 of their coordinators. Ohio State did. So like Michigan, Texas, Penn State, they're going to be up there viable candidates for a national title. So I think that's what they may do, not to get into too much detail. But I think that's what they're trying to do is if they do bring in Rodgers, which I think he's going to be a Steeler, I think they should get Cooper Kupp too. I don't think he's signed anywhere. I hope not, at least. I don't think he's signed anywhere yet, Cooper Kupp. But, yeah, so I think he'll be, again, Rodgers be a Steeler. I think that'd be more incentive for Cooper Kupp to come to the Steelers. We'll have George Pickens, all the depth we already have as the roster is, plus DK, plus Cooper. But I think we're good with just DK and George Pickens. But if Rodgers comes, I think Cooper Kupp possibly follows him. I don't think there's a better spot for Cooper Kupp to go to than the Steelers, especially if Aaron Rodgers is there. So we'll be absolutely stacked on offense, and that's the issue, scoring more points. So that's the storyline there. I'm going to take a little break. I'll be right back. You guys just hold tight. I'll be right back. I'm back. So that's kind of the latest with the NFL. Adam Thielen going back to the Panthers. He wouldn't have been a bad option for the Steelers either. But again, I think they get Rodgers, and then that's more incentive for Cooper Kupp to come to Pittsburgh. So that's my thoughts right now. I have heard from people that if Mason Rudolph comes back, which he is, he should get a shot at starting. We're not winning a Super Bowl with him. I don't care what people say. 2-year, $8 million deal is what he signed with the Steelers on. Yeah, we're not winning a Super Bowl with him as our starter, so that's not happening. But yeah, so again, I think Rodgers coming to the Steelers. Cooper Kupp may follow. If not, it's okay. We're good there. Defense, we're solidified. Overall, I think Rodgers is the best way to go. We can win a Super Bowl and contend for one with him, especially with our new weapons. We could probably contend, with just George Pickens, honestly. That might be a bit of a stretch, but we got DK, so need a quarterback and a running back. I think they go running back in the draft. They got 2 vets at running back right now, Jalen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell. I think they go Ollie Gordon in the draft or another running back. First round, okay. Say they don't get Cooper Kupp. They can get Emeka Egbuka in the draft. They can get Ashton Jeanty in the draft. I don't think they'll trade up, but Jeanty could fall. We'll see. I think he'd be a good fit on the Steelers. We'll see, man. We'll see. Ollie Gordon, Ollie Gordon, Ashton Jeanty, that kid from Kansas State, I think. They had a meeting with a running back from K-State. They've had meetings with several running backs, but overall, we just need to get Rodgers, and then the rest of the pieces should fall in place. SteelersUpdate.com. Got a Kyle Juszczyk coming in for a visit. Yeah, Darius Slay. Yeah, this is who I was talking about. Visiting with DJ Giddens from K-State. So, again, I think this is what's going to happen. Rodgers comes in. They either get Cooper Kupp or Egbuka in the draft, maybe both. But if they do get Cooper Kupp, I think Egbuka would be the move, because that'd be a rookie deal, mid-first round rookie deal, 5-year option if they don't move up. I guess if you trade up in the draft, you lose a 5th-year option on a rookie. I guess, if that's true. But that's interesting too. So Rodgers comes, maybe get Cooper Kupp. All right, so let's just say this happens. Rodgers comes, they get Kupp, but that's the thing. People will want draft picks. I don't know if the Steelers are going to do that. They just gave up a second for DK. So Rodgers comes. What's most likely going to happen, Rodgers comes, they get Egbuka in the draft or Jeanty. And then if they don't get Jeanty, they get Ollie Gordon in the draft. I believe Jalen Warren's a K-State guy too. But they could get the K-State guy too. But I think, like I said, Rodgers is going to sign. Will most likely get Egbuka in the draft and then sign like an Ollie Gordon at running back. Or they could get Rodgers and Kupp and Egbuka and have just an insane wide receiver room and still get like an Ollie Gordon. We'll see. You guys give your thoughts. I don't want to think about it too hard because it's gonna get me fired up. But yeah, so those are possibilities. But I think what most likely happens, because I still do think that Cooper Kupp is coming to the Steelers. So we could have Rodgers, Kupp, and then as long as we don't give up a first round or 2 high draft picks. But that's the thing about Kupp too, I guess. He's a free agent, so they wouldn't be giving up draft picks, I guess, right? So that's interesting. So they could get Rodgers, they could get Cup, and then still get Igbokwe or Genti in the draft. I think they're going to go Igbokwe in the draft, no matter what. I don't think they'll go Genti because he's probably going to go too high. If he does go, and he's going to be most likely first round pick. So I think he'll go too high for the Steelers. And if they do trade up, I don't think they're going to give up too much to move up, but they could. We'll see. But they could get, because Igbokwe, he'll be there for a while. Cup and DK's set with the Steelers. He's probably going to retire a Steeler. I don't know. We'll see. He might sign like a 1 or 2 year deal somewhere else after. If it works out, he could leave early, but I think he'll end up being there for a while, DK. But could get Cup and then Igbokwe, and then get an Ollie Gordon later on. So we'll see. It's very interesting, everything that could happen. Okay, to get into the Penn State stuff, first and foremost, Reggie's on the front cover of NCAA 26. The league cover of EA College Football 26 features Nick Singleton and James Franklin. Franklin, Jeremiah Smith, Ron Williams, Reggie Bush, Kirby. Got a bunch of guys on there. It looks like that dude from Michigan. Can't remember his name right now. But yeah, Brett said it's a terrible angle. I said Reggie's on there too, which I love to see. Love Reggie Bush. The field at Beaver Stadium is changing its name, or being named, West Shore Homes. 15 years, $50 million. So if you do the math, $50 million divided by 15 years, that's about $3.3 million a year for naming rights to Beaver Stadium Field. West Shore Homes. Looks like Penn State jerseys. How does this roughly $3.25 million a year compare to other college? Yeah, because Ohio State, I think they're called like State Flight Field or something at the Horseshoe. Yeah, so West Shore Homes got the naming rights to the field. A lot of people are mad that it's not being named after Joe Paterno, which I agree with, but a lot of people, I don't think, understand how these naming rights deals work. So Joe Paterno isn't giving Beaver Stadium $50 million to have his name, the field named after him. That's what the whole money aspect of it. So people are mad that it's not being named after Joe Paterno. I agree. I think they could do both. I think they could say, no matter who signs as the name of the field, it could be West Shore Homes and Paterno Field. It could be Paterno Field, Paterno Field brought to you by West Shore Homes, or Paterno Field sponsored by West Shore Homes. Joe built Beaver Stadium. He did. So I think they could do both, but I also saw an article here recently that I sent to Brett. It was on Facebook, actually. Basically saying that they could honor Joe like they did Don Shula by putting his name on the suite side, like they have all the years, just honoring him, like put his name up there, all his wins, his record, national titles, all that, just honor him like they have done for Don Shula in Miami. Just put his name on the stadium and put his statue back up. That's ridiculous that they ever took that down. Semantics if you will. I kind of understand why they did take it down. And I could also see people like soft-ass players being like, I'm not going to play on Paterno Field. That's ridiculous. This is shameful that they named the field after him. So if they can just honor him in some way, put his name on the stadium, put his statue back up, do both. The man should be honored. We all know as Penn State fans, Joe did what he was supposed to do during the scandal. That's it. His name is clear. It was not his doing, all of that. He did what he was supposed to do. Told the police, the president, and the AD. Never seen a man get blamed for something so much after telling the police about a crime. That's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous that he was shafted for that. So he should be honored in some way. I know the statue is still in existence. It's hidden somewhere in an undisclosed location. I've heard from good sources where it's at. I'm not going to say what it is or where it's at, but I have heard that it's still intact and can be put up if they want it to, which it should be. So they could honor Joe by putting his name up in there just permanently. Joe Paterno, 409 wins, winningest coach of all time, record, national titles, all that. They could put a lot up. Graduation percentage, or the success stories of all the players that he had. He had a good impact on a lot of players and the fans. And in general, what happened with the scandal, absolutely horrible. And the victims that it happened to, they should be respected and heard, and their opinions should be accounted for, even with stuff like this. If you're in that position where you're a victim of something and something went wrong as to where it wasn't reported, those guys could feel that Joe Paterno was responsible for that, and they have every right to feel that way. That's a horrible, horrible thing that happened with the scandal at Penn State. At the same time, I don't think Joe was responsible, and he did what he had to do to report it and put it into the right hands of the people who should do something about it. So I don't find him responsible. Could he have done more? When he said he should have done more, anyone would say that in that position. All I can say is, to people that say he should have done more, all I can say is he reported it to the police, the president, the AD. What more can the guy do? What more can the man do? So they should bring him back and honor him specifically for everything that he did. For those of you who are Penn State fans and know the Joe Paterno character, he's not going to just let something like that go. Therefore, he reported it immediately to his superiors and the police. So I think they should bring him back and honor him with a nameplate on the stadium or his statue or both. He should be honored in some way, 100%. We're not going to forget about Joe Paterno, even if the higher-ups and or elites try to. We're not going to forget. Justin King said on his podcast recently that if we win a national title, it'll be forgotten. No, it won't, Justin King. We're not going to forget about Joe Paterno. We're not. Michael Motti said honor him by winning a national title. I agree, but we're not going to forget. No one's going to forget Joe Paterno. We're not going to. Never. You, Justin King, played for him. You, of all people, know the impact that he had on his players, on the school, everything. Paterno Library, all of it. The impact that he had on Penn State. Therefore, he should be honored. So, but the field is named West Shore Homes Field at Beaver Stadium. Hopefully, they honor Joe and they bring him back in some form or fashion to honor him in the way that they should. So that's pretty much all I have for today, guys. Daily show. We'll see how it plays out in free agency. Again, I'm going to have Jared on here again soon. I'll have Brett on again soon. Tyler Smith and I are doing another basketball episode soon. And, we're going to take it from there. So let's honor Joe Paterno now in the way that he deserves. That's all I got. You guys have a good rest of your day. We will see you again soon, and have a good, safe weekend. See you next time.